Hey everybody, welcome to the Noah Samson channel, where we look at things from a Noah Samson perspective. And Noah Samson is me. Hi. These days on the internet, there's all sorts of whack job advice given out about the topic of dating. Some people say, oh, go up to the lady at the bar and spit on her shoes. Don't even shine them though. Tell her she's weird and that her drink is lame, and then she'll come crawling across the bar to kiss you on the teeth. Others say, ladies, find a man and make him a grilled cheese, and make sure he eats the grilled cheese by doing a choo-choo into a grilled cheese.
Is that like a sex doll right there? What's going on with that? They got the wavy cups. I got the trunks like those cups, the Jerry cups. But why is that the sex doll there? What's going on?
And make sure he eats the grilled cheese by doing a choo-choo into the train hole sort of motion. And do this until he proposes to you, and then bear him his 5 children. Instead of relying on all this crazy stuff on the web, I thought, why don't we look at some stories from real people that you sent in about dates that went well, to see if we can learn anything straight from the source of real anecdotes. Nobody here is selling you courses. Nobody here is trying to get make your pee-pee grow.
A whole lot of people will try to tell you that it's not possible to increase the size of your penis. Well, those people are full of shit.
Or get you to become a member of their YouTube channel so they can give you perks and benefits. None of that. Straight, raw, from the source dating stories that are good. Here we go. I'm a bisexual woman, and whenever I'm on a casual date with a usually straight dude, I like to ask them the age-old question, boobs or butts? I'm paraphrasing there for the YouTube censors, but you get it. It's just a silly question, and it's interesting to keep a tally of how many boobs or butts men there are out there, lol. Hi, I work for the US Census Bureau, and we were just wondering if you like boobs or butts more. Thank you, please let us know. And immediately pulling out a scroll with a bunch of check marks and a little drawing of some boobs and a little drawing of some butts, or just one butt. 2 cheeks on the butt, it's one single butt, and awaiting their answer.
I really want to know where this story is going, because this is like definitely a ramble, but I'm sure there's a point, so let's see what it is.
Mostly guys first answer, oh, I love both, of course. But after being pressed like, no, you have to choose perfect girl with perfect boobs but a flat butt, or perfect butt with a flat chest. They usually choose one, and we'd have a laugh. Then I went on a date with this new guy. We walk around the city before going to dinner. We get talking, he's a little shy but very cute, and we're vibing. So towards dessert, when we've gotten more relaxed and talkative, I ask him the question, boobs or butts? This poor dude blushes bright red and gets really awkward, looking at the table and stuttering a little bit before answering, no, I don't like to think about women that way. It's disrespectful.
Disrespectful. Alright, where's it gonna go?
This guy watches anime. No, that's not appropriate. Don't make me think that. No, I can't think about it that way. I don't think about you that way. Sorry, I can't take part in your survey. Ding, 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 ding. I was genuinely taken aback. This was the first man to ever answer the question like this, and that's when I knew this was the correct answer. He recovered from his embarrassment, and I apologized for being crass, and we continued to have a lovely date. That relationship lasted 3 wonderful years, and we parted on mutual terms. Still good friends to this day. Oldest trick in the book. Boobs or butt? Her heart. Her lungs, because I love the air she breathes and all of it. Her brain, because it's so big, bulging into her skull, all swollen and fat. I think this is sweet, though. I think it's very nice that this person found this answer to be refreshing. I'm surprised. Well, no, I'm actually not surprised. It's interesting to hear that this is the first person after a bunch of dates to answer in this way, but I suppose it is an off-the-wall question a little bit. I think it's really fun. I think it's good. Good job. Congrats on all that stuff. On my first...
This is kind of weird. It's like the relationship ended, but it did last 3 years. The relationship's end. But it's like a trap question, and you answer it, and you're like, wrong answer. It's a trick question or some shit. I don't know. It's kind of like a weird trap. Maybe that's why the relationship she's went on a lot of dates is fucking weird traps and fucking questionings.
First date with my wife, we got Thai food. Watched her, Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson's voice.
That movie's fucking godlike. I love it. You're dating a machine. It's also dating everybody else. Don't trust the AI.
It is a pretty accurate summary of the film. It is just her voice. Scarlett
Dating
Johansson
everybody
is the voice of Scarlett Johansson's voice. We talked about how we wanted to read the Communist Manifesto, but couldn't get into it because it was so dry. Have you tried dipping it in water? Have you tried dipping it in water? Tomato descends from orbit at 1,000,000 miles an hour and smacks me in the head. My cranium instantly explodes. 1 month later, we were crying on the phone together because of everything to do with COVID. Damn. Yeah, okay. COVID, I'm sure, despite all the bad, which was a lot of bad, for at least 1 or 2 people in the world, it was a bonding experience of crying over the phone that strengthened a relationship, potentially. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know? Except in this case, it's more like the Atlantic Ocean full of dirty baby bathwater and 1 embryo. You know what I'm saying? The first date I went on was with a guy I was working with at the time. We got on really well and had the same sense of humor. We went bowling into the cinema where we watched a horror movie. I loved it. He did not. He spent the whole time crying and complaining and asking me to call his mommy to come pick him up. That's not what it says. It didn't end up turning into anything more, but it was a great first date experience. You know, I saw a few comments in the last video talking about how, man, it's really upsetting to hear about dates that went really well but didn't really go anywhere. And I kind of understand where that's coming from, especially because dating can be a very intimidating thing, and like going out and having fun only for it to not materialize into anything serious, that can be a bummer if you like the person. But also, you know, good memes. Good times in the moment of doing the thing that you're doing. Maybe you're watching a horror movie and the person's peeing their pants and you laugh at them. That's fun. Pointing and laughing and going, ha 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 ha. I'm just kidding, that's mean, but you know, do some stuff.
That's a pretty good actually point. I've been on like a bunch of dates. I don't think I've ever been on a date where it went like really like well and then I didn't go on a second date. Usually it's kind of like whack and then they didn't go on a second date, or it was like nobody's talking, or like, you know, the person doesn't mention you back, but they didn't go back, but they didn't go well. I've never been in a situation where like, oh man, this is a really good date. This person is really fun and really cool, and they didn't like go out at least a second time. Yeah, I guess that would kind of suck. I guess really it's like your perspective. So like if your perspective of the day went really well, and like you messaged them and they're just like whatever. Actually, wait. Let me. Okay, okay, that's not true. I gotta think about it. There was somebody who was messaging, and we went on a date, and it was fine. Maybe from their perspective, it went really well, but I didn't go out for the second time. But I guess for me, it was just okay. I wasn't that worried about it. Well, I guess whenever I thought about, oh man, it's not really well, usually the second date, but I don't know, things have changed.
Following a graphic designer on Twitter for business one day. I broke up with my girlfriend a couple weeks later and was searching for something to do in Montreal one night. Are these two unrelated events? Is it just timing that ended your relationship, or was that person whipping up some Helvetica real cleanly? That's a font joke for anyone who uses fonts or writing. The Twitter girl tweeted at me that there was a comeback kid show in Les Foufons et French. This venue has multiple stories and shows are on the second floor. I arrived at the show with a friend and she texts me that she is finishing a hockey game on the TV with a friend on the first floor. We go back to the first floor, sat with them, and never went back to the show. We never let go of each other that night. Damn. First date. Where am I hug at? Fully embracing and holding each other and spinning around. It's been 12 years of this. We are 10 years married and have 2 kids now.
Damn.
You know, Twitter.
Yeah. Damn, that's pretty fucking intense. Actually, I've never seen a video like this where just like somebody talking or like analyzing dating stories from your perspective. As my perspective is pretty unique because it's like what I've had, you know. I haven't had too many relationships that would actually like never really like long term. It means like dating somebody or like hanging out, you know, maybe like hooking up with somebody. It's not really like long term relationship shit. It's really interesting to hear this perspective of like what does a long-term relationship look like.
Elon Musk sort of sprayed it down with white phosphorus. It was a good place and stuff like this could happen. Now instead of seeing this reply, they'd see the lamest, most unfunny reply you could possibly imagine from a crypto grifter asking them if they want to buy some digital files. But back then, you know, you could find love. And we love that for them. Good job. My fiance and I are getting married in October. Okay, spoilers. Jeez. What's next? You gonna tell me that Dumbledore dies, or is it that climate change is gonna consume all of us in a fiery blaze?
How dare you!
Our first quote-unquote date was at a DACA rally with a mutual friend of ours who hung out the whole time. At the end of that date, my friend told me he didn't think she was into me. About an hour later, she asked me out to a real date. His friend yeah, she'll never ask him out on a real date. And a few seconds later, I supported her through her master's in ed, short for Edward, and now she's going to support me as I go to law school. I'm so excited for our life together.
Oh, that's so sweet. Like him working so she get her like degree, and then like, all right, you gotta go to school now too, get your degree. That's so cool. It's like that's so cool.
From that first date to today, our relationship has been built on splitting tasks and helping each other, which is a lot like Among Us. The video game Among Us. I feel bad for men who refuse to help with women's work. They would have missed out on the most fulfilling relationship I've ever had. It's not talked about enough how chores can be a great bonding experience and a mutual building of tasks to complete for your life. Long story short, I met this guy on Hinge. After all the weird encounters I've had with guys on Hinge so far, you can imagine my guard was up. Well, if you have had a lot of weird encounters, then yeah, that makes That makes perfect sense. But I don't know you. I don't know your life. We had a few nice and meaningful conversations through Hinge, and we eventually set a date to meet in person and get some boba. This was during the day, so I felt a lot safer, and we were in a public setting. Once we got our boba, we went to his car, and I kid you not, we spent like 5 or 6 hours in his car just talking. And I was extremely happy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Talking? That doesn't sound romantic. I actually wasn't thinking that at all. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're talking about. If you're in the car like, hi, how are you? How's the weather today? Are you reading any good books lately? However, to me, it was special because he didn't try anything and it felt organic getting to know each other. That's where the bar is, folks. Simply do not try to get into someone's pants while the boba is still fresh in your belly at 11 a.m. I do think this is very important, though. It speaks to the socialization of men.
Obligatory SJW interlude, yeah.
And under patriarchy to be sex obsessed, where a major outlier to the rule is someone that doesn't act in a sexual manner when they don't really know the person immediately, which sounds pretty wacko, but I think especially on apps it's a pretty common thing. But I don't want to hyperfixate on that in this situation, you know, because it sounds like they were getting to know each other and it was going well. After the date, we spent a week or two just texting each other and still getting to know one another, and we eventually came to a mutual agreement that we weren't going to move things forward.
Damn, what the fuck happened? It was sounding so positive.
Just another one of those sleeve histories. Sugar.
And we eventually came to a mutual agreement that we weren't going to move things forward. Someone is driving a spaceship in my neighborhood. The fact that we had a nice date just talking with one another and not feeling pressure to move things forward sexually or romantically made this the most memorable date for me. Smiley. Once again, we have a nice, cute story of some boba consumed and a positive, healthy interaction between two people. I know a lot of people have made friends through encounters like this. I've made a few friends myself this way, and you know, it's a fun, wacky way in today's internet world to, I guess, have social interaction. I was talking to my...
It's just so weird to me. I don't know why. I've never done that. I can't imagine a scenario where you're like going out with somebody like, okay, I guess for me, so I was like, okay, do I want to be friends with this person? Sure. But, you know, you want to, you know, match them online, right? You meet them offline. Then the date goes well. I guess like the real question is, have you ever dated someone and has the relationship not worked out and then you wanted to be friends with them? And for me, that doesn't really happen. I guess there's some people like I was cool with afterwards and I would like hit them up and actually, no, that's true. I didn't really interact with them a lot after that. So it's like, we're cool, but it's not like we're like hanging out or anything like that. So we're cool. Like I message them online, maybe something like that.
My boyfriend for a while, and I was on his phone with him and found a long notes app where he would write down things to talk to me about and his feelings. He was very embarrassed, but I thought it was so sweet, and we had our first kiss. Very sweet moment to me. Discovering someone's diary, essentially, or journal, early into the relationship, so intense, but I mean, it sounds like this person had a very sweet, wholesome diary, so good on them. I was in my boyfriend's room rifling around his wares with him, and I opened the chest, and inside was a mythical scroll. Inscribed on it was a bunch of demon faces in very dark chalk ink. It could have been blood, and it brought us really close together. I think that is very sweet because it's like a vulnerability thing, you know? And also because I remember distinctly being very socially anxious on some dates when I was younger and writing down topics of conversation of things that I could say if I was not having anything to say. I think that's a cute moment. Good job. The first time me and my boyfriend met up IRL, we had such a silly date. We had the grandiose ideas of ice skating and holding hands and everything. Turns out I can't ice skate, and I kept falling. That's how you get you, big ice skating. All the movies of the romance and allure of ice skating, and then you just fall and break your butt cheeks in half, causing a crack in and allure.
Oh, yeah. I love this movie so much. Who was in Paris?
Of ice skating, and then you just fall and break your butt cheeks in half, causing a crack in them, and maybe even a hole. Sorry. We had to stop pretty quickly, but he was okay with it. He held my hands and understood. He was staying for the weekend, so the next day we saw Spider-Man late at night. I don't remember much except for how good it felt to finally see a movie with someone who wasn't my parents. How good it felt to hold his hands. If this gets in the video, hi Jacob, I love you lots. Hey. Ooh, yahoo! Hi, Jacob. We love you lots. Thanks for being a supportive skater. Movie days to see Spider-Mans are especially romantic because you can turn and whisper in their ear and say, look, it's the Spider-Man. It's the man who was bitten by a spider. He's trying to get all those webs out of him because they're piling up in his bloodstream and it's a mess for his cholesterol. Or you can prank them by turning to whisper in the ear and saying, ah, there's a spider in your ear. Just kidding. It's just the Spider-Man film, Spider-Man. Featuring
what is he rambling?
Spider-Man and Tom Holland. I decided to meet the guy that I was falling for online. I wore a Cookie Monster t-shirt and met him at my local pool.
Cookie Monster t-shirt? Okay,
Oh.
it's
He
like
was sweet,
interesting.
kind, and thoughtful. He gave me a cookie. He gave me a kiss before leaving to go on a 5-mile run with his friend. What made it so great was that he didn't judge me for wearing a silly t-shirt. We've been married for over 8 years now. See, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. You reveal it at the end that they're married off a Cookie Monster t-shirt. Wow. Not a super special story, but one of a guy meeting a girl and all things were right. I showed up wearing a Cookie Monster t-shirt. He showed up wearing a Thanos snapback. We played pool and tied, and the rest was history. Even though I do think that is a special story, I don't think the story really has to be special. It can just be a cute little thing, you know, or it cannot be that. I don't know what's going on. Okay, everybody, I think we're going to end it there because it's getting dark and I'm getting tired. I hope you enjoyed the good dating stories today and talking about why, you know, dates can be fun and good. Thanks for sending them in. Hope you're doing well, and I'll catch you on the thing. Bye-bye.
Definitely interesting video. Huh. Dating doesn't have to suck. I never see any story about, I guess, his dating stories. That some of them like ended in relationships and like marriage, and then a lot of them ended. I don't know. I guess for me, in my experience, I never had a date that like went really well, and then didn't have a follow up, and then I thought that was really good because it's never been in a scenario. I don't know. I don't understand. Like, why would a date go really well? You not want to see somebody again? I don't understand why you would want to do that. No.